It's happening again! Chip Kelly, DeMarco Murray, they're back in Philadelphia. The Eagles can't run the ball. They're going backwards instead of forwards. My eyes! My eyes! Oh, it's like watching the solar eclipse. But you know what? All this LeGarrette Blount speculation about him getting cut and all this, it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of preposterous. And I'm going to get into that right now. All right, here it is. Adam Kaplan, NFL Insider, on 97.5 The Fanatic on Sunday, speculating about LeGarrette Blount and not being a lock to make the team. So here's his bit from his interview yesterday. This is from bleedinggreennation.com. I think in the end here, Wendell Smallwood, I'll give you another statement, he's that important to what they do this season. I mean, I didn't think it would be this big if you asked me a week ago, but the more information I gather on Blount, the more I understand that he's no lock to make the football team. Again, if you were to ask me a week ago, I'd probably say, he's going to make it. I don't see it being an issue. But bad preseason game, just wait, not great. I've been checking in on some things. All right, so here's what I'll say to that statement. If Blount doesn't make this team, it's because the Eagles really, really, really like the other young backs like Smallwood, Pumphrey. They're going to keep Sproles, and maybe they really like Corey Clement. The numbers for LeGarrette Blount so far this preseason, they've been ugly, all right? 9 carries, 17 yards, a paltry 1.9 yards per carry. But when you do break down the numbers a little bit further, all right, I went and watched all 9 of his carries. 4 runs for 18 yards on plays up the middle. 5 runs along the edges for -1 yards. We know that he's a big downhill physical back. And so does Doug Peterson. He's not stupid. He's not going to keep running these sweep plays over and over again during the regular season.
I think just knowing and kind of watching him, last year what he did with New England on their Super Bowl run, just the impact that he had in the red zone. I constantly find myself going back and watching those touchdown runs that he had, and he's a big physical downhill runner, and I saw it yesterday in some of that inside run period. The explosiveness. He's got great vision. Great vision to make little jump cuts and read defensive linemen. But that big body in the backfield, I think can, for a defender, presents a big problem. From a tackling, one-on-one tackling standpoint, and exciting to see him as we get going now in these games.
Big physical downhill runner. You heard that, right? You heard the words come out of Doug Peterson's mouth, right? So why would 5 of his 9 runs so far this preseason be along the edges? Why would he be doing that? Well, here's the reason. All right, this is the preseason. The preseason game calling is not like it is during the regular season. In the preseason, you're evaluating players. You're also looking at getting unit reps, all right? Think of the outside sweep play. Think of how much timing is needed. All the moving parts. It's a lot easier to run a play up the middle when you're just pushing men backwards instead of that sweep play when you got people pulling, you got all the moving pieces, all the timing has to be down, the running back has to know when to hit that hole. That's why they're running it a lot. It's not just with LeGarrette Blount, it's with all the offensive line units. Doug Peterson, once the regular season starts, he's going to cater the offense to the team's strengths. And the strength of LeGarrette Blount is to run the ball up the middle.
I mean, here's a guy who scored 18 touchdowns last year. I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, that's hard to do. So what he can do. He's a veteran player. He's tough. He has good vision for a big man. He can move. He can cut. So, we just, as things go forward, you look to find the plays that are best suited for him, and you focus on those things and let him do his thing. And because when he does his thing, it results in a lot of touchdowns, and that's what we've seen in his career.
Overreacting is something that we love to do here in Philadelphia. But in the whole scheme of things, we've seen LeGarrette Blount only carry the ball 9 times in 2 preseason games. 9 times. Such a limited sample size. And people are freaking out. They think that Arya Stark has gone and taken Doug Peterson and LeGarrette Blount's face and put them on the bodies of Chip Kelly and DeMarco Murray. But how about this, all right? Preseason stats for LeGarrette Blount. Over his career, 3.56 yards per carry during the preseason. That number goes up to 4.4 during the regular season. Please, let's stop overreacting.
You know, as a coach, you learn what I've learned over the years playing and coaching is you got to be mature enough to still have a sense of urgency but not overreact to preseason things. I mean, the preseason is incredibly important. Every play is important. Every practice, every game is important. But you just can't overreact as players and coaches.
Another thing to keep in mind during the preseason, a lot of the plays have been vanilla. Well, it's because Doug Peterson doesn't want to tip his hand.
You just don't want to show too much. I thought that was part of the reason for some of our success last year, early in the season. You know, I mean, we didn't do a lot of things in the preseason games, and we came out and started out 3-0. I mean, people didn't know what to expect. So a little bit of it's that, you know, but you still want to see success because you still want to build confidence. So it's that blend. We want to run our base stuff. We don't want to show too much, but we still want to have enough success to build confidence.
Obviously, LeGarrette Blount's going to be in a running back by committee situation here in Philadelphia. Going to be in a lot of third and shorts, a lot of red zone situations. He's going to be running the ball up the middle. So maybe that's a little predictable. But earlier this preseason, earlier in training camp, Reich talked about how he doesn't think the predictability is going to be a problem.
You know, you don't want to be predictable by personnel. I mean, if all of a sudden LeGarrette coming in, you don't want him just to think run. So, but we actually like that predicament because what we try to use it to our advantage. So, LeGarrette comes in the game. He's a workhorse runner. We know teams fear him running the football. So, play action is, are we going to run many drop back passes with him in the game? Probably not. And it doesn't matter. You could tell every team in the league that we're going to run the football and we're going to run play action with it. That in itself. And all you got to do is run a handful of play action to keep him honest, because the play action plays tend to produce. You get those linebackers stepping up to stop him, it creates huge holes in the secondary. So there's been a lot of stuff about us last year with the yards per attempt and all that stuff being low. You get a good running game like that, those linebackers start stepping up. All of a sudden, we get a lot of 20-yard completions behind those guys. So we'll take that problem.
Here's why Doug Peterson is not going to be like Chip Kelly. Chip had just 4 running plays. That was it. Outside zone, inside zone. He had a trap play, and he had the outside sweep. DeMarco Murray did not run any of those exceptionally well whatsoever. Doug Peterson has 3 times as many running plays. He's going to find what caters to LeGarrette Blount. And another thing, too. Blount gets better as the game goes along. He wears defenses down. He's 250 pounds. He's huge. He's massive. And it's evidenced by the fourth quarter stats. He averages 4.7 yards per carry during the final frame.
I just know, like I said, over the course of a game, I mean, teams get tired, you got a big running back, and teams get tired, and you give the ball to them, a bunch of times, eventually you're going to spring one, or eventually they're going to miss a tackle, or eventually, you just never know what's going to happen, when you're in that situation. But like I said, man, it's a long game, and if you play a 60-minute game, and if you're running the ball well, it's a long day for a defense.
A question for everyone. Why is LeGarrette Blount getting all the blame for his paltry average during the preseason? What about the offensive line? Chance Warmack has sucked. Zach Ertz can't block. Oh my God, he just got obliterated right there. Lane Johnson sucked on Thursday, filling in for Jason Peters. The entire line has sucked.
We feel good about it. Like I said, we feel good about it. There's nothing that we're doubting or that we feel like we're lacking. I feel like we got all the pieces that we need to be a good running team. Obviously, like he said, we haven't been game planning anybody. We haven't been going into details about what we're going to do, in the run game and stuff. We're just trying to get out there and make sure that things are going to be clicking on all cylinders by the time we start that first game.
All of the Eagles' struggles running the ball this preseason has resulted into a lot of speculation about the Eagles potentially trading for LeSean McCoy. I know we all want him back, but here's the problem. He's 29. You're going to have to pay him $8.875 million this year, $8.95 million next year, and $9.05 million the year after that. It is better off to go draft a running back next year. It's a great running back class. Saquon Barkley, Darius Geis, Bo Scarborough, Nick Chubb. One of those four you can get. They're going to be over $5 million cheaper and 8 years younger. Wait till next year. Go get your running back then. You don't have to trade for LeSean McCoy. And let's just be a little bit patient. Let's wait this out. Let's wait it out. There's a reason why Doug Peterson was so giddy about seeing all 18 of those touchdown runs last year.
You watch all 18 of them? The touchdown runs you mentioned?
I did. I've watched it a couple times this spring. I actually went back and watched it the other day.